Pauli, just first of all, if you could just talk us through a couple of the injuries, really, because Matthew Cozer's not made the 21 this week. What's the situation?
Yeah, so he sort of got blocked off by a Wigan player last week, and his ankle got caught underneath him. So he's got a 4 to 6 week sort of syndesmosis injury, which is not ideal at the moment. We've got seven frontline middle unit players missing now, so you see with our squad we're pretty light, incredibly light, really. So yeah, tough at the moment, particularly in the middle of the field. But we'll make some adjustments like we have been doing, and the players will go out and been incredible. I think whoever's played, just been phenomenal. So really pleased with where we're at. Obviously, we've got a pretty stiff challenge ahead of us now, but yeah, we'll face it with the same positivity we did last week. And we had 10 players missing last week, got 11 missing this week.
When you get news of that injury, did you say not another middle?
Yeah, well, it's just yeah, just so hard really because I thought he might have got away with it a little bit, and then yeah, you get that nose back. It's not ideal, is it? But it is what it is. You've got used to it now, so we just get on with it.
Have you come close over the recent month with a view to bringing someone in from outside the club? Have you sort of kept feelers out on that front?
Uh, we've talked about it, but then I've always decided that well, I think we're all right. We just go with the players from within. Jack Croft has played in the middle, done a great job, and we've continued to do that really. So Cam Scott's come and played in the back row. We've just adjusted really from within. I'd rather do that. I don't really want to bring anybody in. I'd rather, we've got no I as 18th man tomorrow. Um, so we've got, Ellis Lingard has played for us this year. I'd rather give those boys a look at it, if I'm honest. That's why you have a squad, isn't it? It's why you have young players. So I'd rather do that. And at the moment, I feel like I'm able to do that. We're pretty close, but I'm hoping we're going to start to see a couple of players coming back in next few weeks, which will really help us.
How close is Ellis Lingard to getting that second game?
Yeah, he's pretty close. I mean, he'll play for the academy against OK. So um, you know, he is close. He's pretty close.
And on Noah, you mentioned that he's going to be the 18th man. How close is he to making a Super League appearance? And when do you know someone like that's ready for a Super League game?
Well, with Ellis, it was just giving him an opportunity at Salford. That's a different kind of game. Or it was back then. I know they're stiffening up a little bit at the moment. But yeah, I just think you get a feel. Don't you? You watch them training all the time. You see how they are physically and mentally around the place, and then sometimes it's forced on you. Sometimes it's calculated. Ellis was calculated, for example. That we felt like that would be a good game for him. With Noah, he's been playing at Batley and having he's been sort of working hard there. So yeah, we'll just make decisions as we go through the season. But sometimes it'll take Harvey Smith. Harvey Smith's, he played Super League the year before I came in, made his debut then. And then I had a look at the champ last year and did pretty well. And then he's been outstanding, with Tommy Doyle being injured. Um, and then he's proven himself now as a genuine, Super League option.
Mike McMeekin, I'm sure you addressed this after the Wigan win, but how long do you expect him to be out for? Is it a pec issue, I think?
Yeah, he's gonna see a specialist tomorrow just to have a face-to-face meeting and see where he's at. I don't think it's bad, but on the other side of the coin, I can't give a time scale for when he's back, but I'm hoping it's going to be in the next couple of weeks.
Was that within one of the games or was it in training?
Yeah, he did it against Lee right at the start. Did it? I think his first contact against Lee. So and he played the full game. So it's not a really bad injury, but it's enough for us to be cautious with him because obviously he's pretty important.
How tough is it when you lose someone that you depend on so much for minutes? Do you know what I mean? Do you have to look at interchanges differently now?
Yeah, yeah, you're always looking at it. I mean, at the moment, I'm just getting the sense of games. I probably know one of my substitutions at the minute, and the rest I just go, well, I'll wait and see how the game rolls. So yeah, it's obviously Mikey's been phenomenal for us, and last week was the first game we played without him. So I was really interested to see how the team handled losing the captain, and every team has sort of an emotional leader that everybody connects with, and I think Mike is that for us. But I thought we handled it really well. And Pitsy stepped in, and he's another one who people just respect so much and see as a pivotal leader and player. So he did a great job for us last week, and we'll lean on him again this week.
How do you assess the challenge ahead then on Friday? Is this the toughest task in Super League at the moment?
Well, yeah, going away to teams like Wigan and OKR, the St Helens, I'd put in there. They're very, very difficult challenges. Uh, so yeah, and they're playing well. I mean, they're similar to Wigan. They've won 9 straight, something like that. So it's a significant challenge. They're not that far off full strength. Wigan were the same last week. Uh, yeah, I think it's a big challenge. But I think we just go and attack it. Really, I think that's the way that you do it. We'd be second favourites by a distance, I reckon. We've got so many players missing, and they're flying, and they're the best team in the comp at the moment. They won the Challenge Cup. The top of the table by 4 points. They're obviously huge favourites in this. I think they've got between 18 and 22 points start if you're a betting man. So yeah, uh, everything would point towards OKR winning this game. Um, but we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see. The fact that they've not seemingly, as of yet, had any sort of wobble following the Challenge Cup, which can do strange things to teams, whether you win or lose. Can that sometimes come a little bit even a little bit further down the line, or are you impressed by the fact that that hasn't really affected them?
Yeah, I think they've done really well, haven't they, to ride that sort of period after you celebrate winning a big trophy. I think they've got a lot of maturity in the team. They've been together a long time. They've got all the key players still out there. They've got a couple missing, but they can cover those up pretty easily with the depth that they've got. So yeah, I think they've done well. I think they've done super well. Top quality team. They've been building for a number of years now, and they're in a place where they're really challenging for everything. The league leaders looks like it's theirs to lose. Uh, the grand final, everybody's saying is nailed on. They've won the Challenge Cup, so look, they're flying. They're absolutely flying. So and everybody's pretty respectful of what they've done over the last few years to get them to this position. So it's a significant challenge for us. You're going away to it is a really intense environment as well. Probably the most I'd say in Super League. It's that it'll be absolutely rammed. They've got that big stand where there's thousands of supporters in there, pretty vociferous, and yeah, there'll not be many of them wanting us to win. So, going to need our support to be pretty vocal, which they are. So, we'll rely on them a lot in the game tomorrow.
Just on last week and then this week, you've obviously beat Wigan, which is a phenomenal win. But then you go and play the other outstanding team in the competition so far this year. Can you go into this game full of confidence and almost use last week as proof that they can knock off another of the big boys? I mean, if you could do it back to back, be some exceptional achievement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think when I looked at the fixtures and saw this particular run of fixtures is Leeds, Lee, Wigan, OKR. Well, that's a fair run of fixtures that. So I always knew this was going to be a really difficult period for us. To face it with what's happened to us on the injury front is, it makes it sort of sort of 4 times as difficult. But yeah, I think it'd be a phenomenal achievement if we go there and win. Obviously the odds are stacked against us, but I think I've been saying this all the way through. Our confidence is growing week to week with the performances that we're putting in. I mean, we could easily have beat Leeds late on. We could have easily held on to beat Lee. We beat Wigan at home, and then we've got Ulcar. So even in defeats, I just feel like our confidence is growing. But I think this is the biggest challenge probably at the moment in rugby league, going away to OKR, who are, they look like they're impregnable at the moment. So yeah, this is a huge challenge for us.
No fear though, even though I mean Craven Park is a horrible and hostile place to go, but I'm assuming you're confident that you can get a result despite everything working against you with the injuries and how they're going and so on and so forth.
Well, I mean, that's what the game's about, and it's how do you instill belief in a team? How do individual players add to the collective, whoever's missing, and just go and perform? That is the challenge for us. I think obviously we've played OKR already, so we had a good look at them a while back in round two, and I thought we acquitted ourselves pretty well. We were, goal kick away from golden point. So look, we know how difficult the challenge is, but that's the game, isn't it? That's the beauty of it, really. We should be excited by it. I think we are. I think we're excited to go there and see what we can do against the best team in the comp. I think we've been acquitting ourselves pretty well most of the year, pretty much all the year, to be honest. So this is the next step. Next step for us to put our foot into the hot bath and see how we can manage the heat that Hull KR certainly put on you.
How do you neutralize the crowd there? Because they are particularly hostile and vociferous there. How do you
Yeah,
combat it? How do you overcome it?
we got to start well. They're scoring more points than anybody else in the first 10 minutes of games, so you've got to start well. I think that's key. Otherwise, it just grows. I just think the hostile nature just grows. So I think you've got to try and dampen that down. That's easier said than done. Both every team will say they want to come out and start well. So that's where it's all at. Start well, build a game for yourself, give yourself a chance to quieten the crowd, and then your fans can come into it then, and then it becomes a little bit different. It becomes an awkward environment, but for the home team, but we've got to be impeccable to do that, I'd say.
Do you enjoy going to Craven Park as a travelling coach? I know some coaches say it's just not a nice place to go as a travelling team.
Well, yeah, it's a hostile environment, as you said, but I think it's great that the OKR fans love rugby league. I think you can see that Hull is such a hotbed for rugby league. They all love the club and what it's doing, and rightly so. They're in a great place. They're all enjoying what they're doing at the moment. For me, going into those environments and trying to instill belief in a team is the beauty of what the game's all about. Um, so whilst it's intimidating and it's difficult, it's also really exciting. And it is one of those places where you go and it's just bouncing. It's just a bouncing rugby league ground, and they've done a phenomenal job to get it to that kind of place. And for opposition teams, then you've got to be right at your best. Every single person, all of us, coaching staff, players. We've all got to be unbelievable. Referee's got to be unbelievable, because it's an intense environment. So Jack Smith's got his hands full. He's got to make sure he's straight down the line under a bit of pressure, and everybody has to deal with pressure. And I think that's always the case when you go there. But no, excited more than anything. Just looking forward to it. But we know, the heat's going to be on, and we have to be able to deal with it all.
And just lastly from me, the playoff race is starting to heat up. It's becoming quite congested in that sort of fifth, sixth, seventh. Are you the sort of coach that keeps your eye on it and tracks it and looks at the fixtures and does all these things. The fans certainly do it. Do you get delved into that, or do you park that and leave it?
Well, I think as a coach, you have to compartmentalize a lot of things. Any coach that says they don't look at that is they're kidding themselves out there. You're always looking, going right. Where are we? What are we doing? What does the future look like? I'm not saying it comes into every part of your thinking, but it's there. You're thinking, what do we need to do? I break the season up into blocks, always have done. And what do we need to do in all of these areas to get ourselves to a place where we want to achieve what we want to achieve? So, no, I know where we are, I know what we've got to do. Um, there's a pivotal period right in front of us and next up. And yeah, we're mindful of it, and I think all coaches are. To be honest, they all know what they need to do. They're all smart men who know exactly where it is all at in any given season and any given period of games.
I'll ask because it was Matt's original story, but is Jazz Tavaga someone who will be lining up for Wakefield next year?
Oh well, look, we're talking about recruitment all the time, so we sort of on with that. I like him as a player. I've watched him for quite a few years, since he was at the Warriors, and he's a high quality player. But I don't sort of confirm any of that at the moment.
He's going well for Manly, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good player, isn't he? He's a good player. Yeah, all action, great energy. Yeah, he's a good player.
Is he someone you'd like in your pack? Can you imagine him around players like Mike McVeigh next year?
Yeah, well, there's plenty over there, isn't there? How many players over there would go all right over here? I think there'd be plenty. But no, look, he's a good player, and yeah, we're on with our recruitment at the moment. We feel like we've got a really good squad moving forward, and we're always looking to add quality to that. And when we've got something to put out there, we'll do that.
Is he the kind of profile of player you're looking at, though? That kind of a statement signing, if you will.
Oh yeah, NRL player. Yeah, I think I think everybody over here is looking for NRL players who are high quality and can add to what you do from all sorts of different angles.
First of all, congratulations on last week. There's been a lot of talk over Wigan, and I think that's been quite disappointing. It was a high quality game. I thought Wigan played well. You were better. How pleased were you with your middle unit? Because of course Luke Thompson was back, and I thought your middle unit really stood up well to a very powerful Wigan pack.
Oh yeah, when I looked at the teams before the game, they're stacked, really, starting pack and the bench as well with big physical players. So I thought we were exceptional. Yeah, really good. Obviously, a few players playing out of position, but you got 13 players on the field, same as they have. It's all about your attitude and commitment to what you're doing. And yeah, I thought we controlled the game really, really well. We were really good on their outstanding players. And yeah, I thought we were good. That was a really, really good performance from us. And obviously, the middle unit always leads it. Every team will say that.
You're exceptional. I think Good's a little bit weak there. I thought you were exceptional, mate. To be fair, in terms of there's a lot of time we listen to coaches going into games like that, and the cliches come out. We're going to give it a good go, and all the rest of it. But your team from minute one absolutely went for that game. They showed. I won't say. I mean, obviously they respect Wigan, but they went for Wigan, and as a consequence of that, they put Wigan in some really difficult places. They got on top. And I think, is that the benchmark for this week? Because again, you're going up against a very similar team, good pack, the rest of it. Is it no fear? We'll go and play our game, and we'll see if we can come out on top again.
Yeah, I think we've been like that all year, really. There's a couple of bits that you use motivationally right at the start, and yeah, I don't think we were really given much of a chance, to be honest. So we always use that. That's there was a starting point for us, but I think we've shown we can compete. And I think the depth we've got greater depth to our squad than we perhaps thought we had. The boys stepping in and doing a class job. I said to the players last week after the game, look, the bar's pretty high here for anybody coming back into the team because the guys that are holding the positions at the moment are doing a pretty special job. And even, I say that even when we've lost a couple of games, we've lost a couple of tight games recently, to teams in the top six, and we've just been so tough and aggressive and show respect, but no respect almost. I think that's important. We respect everybody, but then we have to go and play our way in a style that we think suits us, and then defend as well as we can. And yeah, I think we're in a good place mentally. I think coaching staff have done a great job, and the players are doing a great job. So we know there's always another challenge around the corner, and the one we've got now is the stiffest in the comp at the moment. So we know how good we need to be. Well, we're not hiding away from that. You can't go in and be at 50, 60% and win this game. You just can't. Everybody's got to be. I said to the boys last week, you got to complete 90% around about to win this game. We were at 88. So I just think you are against the better teams. Everything, all your stats stuff that you build your game on has to be outstanding. And we won territory, possession, and completions last week, and that gives you a chance. Not saying that's always going to win you the game, but against these boys, that gives you a chance.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, post-contact meetings as well. You bullied them, and I just think you deserve so much credit as a team for what you did there. It's not about Wigan; it's about Wakefield, and I thought you were absolutely exceptional. Your big, your big game players, your experienced players stood up well, Griffin, etc. I want to just talk. I always like to pick out a player when I talk to you. Corey Hall, he's somebody I've tracked since the start of his career. Obviously, you gave him the full shirt this year going into the season. I thought he played really well as well against Wigan. When you consider who he's coming up against, I thought he showed a maturity to his game that you'll be hoping that he can continue to play at that level.
Yeah, I thought both centres were outstanding against two of the best in the comp. Yeah, Corey's because he's sort of bounced around a little bit and been, he's really good last time he was here, and then he's sort of had a bit of a journey. And I think he's working quite a bit with one of the well, potentially one of the best coaches that Super League's seen. Particularly from a skill and intelligence perspective in Michael Shenton, and doing a great job, doing a great, and Corey himself, he's done some things mentally, I think, that have really stiffened him up. And then his game's growing. I just think his confidence is growing. We believe him. I think he really needs that as a player. And he's been outstanding and really grown over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah, he's been absolutely incredible. As a neutral, where Wakefield's concerned, now you know where my allegiances are. You've been an absolute breath of fresh air for the comp. I love the fact we love a competition with jeopardy, and I think every time Wakefield take the field, there's jeopardy this year, which is what we want. The last question for me though, off the field, Derek Beaumont has come in for some very easy criticism over the last 24, 48 hours. Love him or hate him. But there is another side to Derek, and you know that all too well. He's doing a bike ride currently in honour of you, your family, and your grandson. So let's balance this up a little bit. It must mean the world to you and your family what Derek's done here.
Yeah, I spoke to him after we played them a couple of weeks back, and he's got a lot of class about him, Derek. And I know he does some things that are a bit out there. Well, that's his personality, isn't it? But for me, I spoke to him after that game, and he was talking about us and how we were going about things, and then he does something like that, And look, nobody's perfect, hey. Everybody gets things wrong here or there, yeah, it's phenomenal that what he's doing, and I know the charity will really appreciate it. My Clark is doing well at the moment. He's got his end of treatment bone marrow biopsy today, which hopefully comes back clear, and then he's on his journey, being cancer free. So I just think it's phenomenal. I got a £40 check today from a guy in Galloway in Scotland. So it's just how far this has gone has been outstanding. So I just like to thank everybody in Rugby League really for for what they've contributed, and for them for thinking about us, Clarkey, the charity itself. I just think it's been outstanding. Shows what rugby league's all about.